Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, I'm talking about watches for the cheeky collector, and by cheeky, I mean someone who really could care less about what other people think. They like watches because they're interesting, and whether they follow all of the trends or not, they don't care. And I found three of them from Maurice Lacroix, plus another one that's I'll talk about at the end and show you, which is to me the king of cheeky watches. So let's get started. The first one is one I really like. It's called the Maurice Lacroix Masterpiece Gravity. Now, this was cheeky. Ironically, I think it was around 2006 or sometime. They came out with this watch, and the big thing at the time was that they had a silicon uh, escapement and a silicon palette fork and some other silicon in it, which I really don't care for too much. But they have a regular hairspring. Now, one of the reviewers, or it was one of the AI reports on this watch, said it also had a silicon hairspring. Now, to me, that's the wonderful irony because you can see bigger in life. There's this big regulator, and if you got a regulator on it and you move it one way or the other, a silicon spring would go boing and it wouldn't work anymore. But it's this watch is just a really beautiful watch, I think. You can see the balance wheel. You can see the regulator, and I think with the regulator on the front like that, you're going to have to unscrew the top of it, and it's the caliber. It's in-house caliber, one of the first ones that Maurice Lacroix had. It's called the ML230, 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour. That's what all of your top independents have, 50-hour reserve, and a 50-meter water resistance. I'll pay 50-meter, well, that's not much. I don't know how many people go down 150 feet in the water with a good watch, but I guess some of them they like very high or very deep, I should say, water resistance. To me, it's almost silly for the kind of good watches we have. I wouldn't take a Submariner in a swimming pool with me. These watches are just too good. Anyway, so this one I I really like. It's got you can see the regulator. R for is a French for retard, which means slow, and A for advance, which is fast. So that's not too hard to figure out. And it's got a sort of a blue silicon palette fork and a silicon escape wheel in pink. So that's sort of a neat. It's got some. The use of silicon here doesn't bother me because there's not a single thing that couldn't be done with transitional metals. But this watch overall, the layout of it, the finger bridges holding the escape wheel, just love it. 43 millimeters, a little big. Another thing, the crystal it is magnified. It's like a little magnet, and if you turn it, you can see different things. Now, the it's yeah, I think it was around 2006, somewhere in that time zone. Maybe it was a little later than that it came out. The only one I could find was on Chrono 24, was 4015. Cool watch, and it just sort of like for people who just want something that's different. Now, this the first one from Maurice Lacroix. The second one is the Maurice Lacroix square wheel, and the square wheel watch it's got a wheel. Wheels are supposed to be round. I just love this watch. This is another watch I like with a square wheel. And then it has sort of what looks like a teddy bear gear that goes around, or a Mickey Mouse one, or a Clover, along with this square wheel that is your second hand. And then down at 5 o'clock, it has a retrograde calendar, hand date calendar. Here again, you have a caliber ML 258. It's automatic. The MSRP on these is 73.30 Swiss francs. That's about $8,000. However, I found an offer on eBay for 35.53. Now this is an earlier version, and it doesn't have the retrograde calendar on it, but it's got the square wheel, and the teddy bear wheel along with it. It's just just sort of like, well, what's that for? It's because it's fun. All right, the third one from Maurice Lacroix that I want to talk about is the Maurice Lacroix triple retrograde. Now this has got more retrograde hands than than you usually see, and it's caliber. This is in-house manufacturer. Maurice Lacroix 291. It's automatic, 4 hertz, 38-hour reserve. So it's got hours and minutes, small seconds at 9 o'clock, retrograde calendar at 6 o'clock, and weekday calendar at 3 o'clock. And then has a second 24-hour time zone at 12 o'clock. So this has got everything. Really a neat watch. Now, the MSRP on this, they're not bad prices. This was 6,450 Swiss francs, about 7,000 bucks. I found an earlier version of this on eBay for $33,082. It's an earlier version, and it has the retro number 2, the one over at 3 o'clock. They call it a double retrograde, but actually the number 2 retrograde is a power reserve indicator that it too has a retrograde feature, so it does in fact have 3 retrogrades. It's got the same ones at 12 o'clock and the same ones at down at 6 o'clock. It just one of these watches are very different, and I like it too. On the older one, the movement is called an ML100 that is based on a Unitas 6497. Hand wound, love it. Okay, now the king of cheeky watches is this one. It's called the H. Moser and Company Swiss Icons watch. Now, only one of these was made. They took it to a watch show, and people were so upset by it that they made them remove it from the show. And what it is, this is what Edouard Malin said. He said, many brands, even historical ones, create and produce nothing but substitute substance with artificial hype to stay relevant. And that's true. And so what he did, he took a watch and put all of these hype things on it. IWC Schaefhaven logo, the Pepsi bezel from Rolex, the octagonal bezel from Royal Oak, the crown guard from Panerai, his horizontal guilloche from the Nautilus, Breguet palm hands, palm being apples, the arrow bridge from Gerard Perregaux, H-shaped screws, and case shape from Hublot. And there are probably some other things that I missed on here, but it's such a cool watch, and it actually works, including the tourbillon. And to me, I would love to have this watch just because it's a king of cheeky watches. So anyway, well, listen, I know this isn't my usual kind of thing, but I tell you, if a watch can't be fun, then what's the point? Anyway, if you have any of these watches, any of the Maurice Lacroix watches, I'd love to hear about it. I know there's only one of the Swiss Icon watches, unfortunately. I wish there were more. So you probably don't have that, but I'd like to get your opinion on that. this opportunity to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the Art and Science of Watch Collection.